The Great Wall of China stretches across mountains, deserts, grasslands, and plains. It climbs ridges, disappears into sand, and re-emerges hundreds of kilometers away. Measured end to end, it runs for more than 21,000 kilometers. But despite its size, despite its fame, despite centuries of stories, the Great Wall is one of the most misunderstood structures in human history. It was never one wall. It was never built all at once, and it never guaranteed safety. What the wall truly represents is not strength alone, but fear, not unity alone, but division, not victory, but endurance. This is the story of the Great Wall of China, not as a monument, but as a human experiment that lasted more than 2,000 years. Before China was a nation, it was a battlefield. The land was divided into rival states: Qin, Zhao, Yan, Wei, Chu, Han, each ruled by its own king, each suspicious of the others. This era would later be known as the Warring States period. War was constant, peace was temporary. Armies marched year after year, borders shifted generation by generation, cities rose, burned, and were rebuilt. But the most dangerous enemies were not always other kingdoms. To the north and west lived nomadic societies, people of the steppe. They lived on horseback. They carried their homes with them. They moved faster than any standing army. They did not need to conquer cities. They needed speed. A village could be attacked before word reached the capital. Crops could be destroyed in a single night. Families could disappear without a trace. The open plains that made agriculture possible also made invasion easy. At first, rulers relied on soldiers alone. But soldiers needed time, and time was something they did not have. Slowly, reluctantly, rulers began to reshape the land itself. The earliest walls in China were not massive stone structures. They were simple, short, rough, packed earth, wooden frames, gravel and mud. These walls were not designed to stop armies. They were designed to slow them down. Even a few minutes could mean survival. An enemy delayed by a wall could be seen. Smoke signals could be sent. Troops could be mobilized. Each kingdom built its own walls. None coordinated with the others. There was no master plan, only fear. Walls collapsed often. Rain eroded them. Wind wore them down. But rulers rebuilt them anyway, because even failure was better than nothing. By the end of the Warring States period, northern China was already lined with fragments of walls, separate, imperfect, and incomplete. Then came unification. Into 21 BCE, the state of Qin conquered its rivals. China became one empire. Its ruler declared himself Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor. Unity brought order, but it also brought paranoia. Qin Shi Huang feared invasion. He feared rebellion. He feared history itself. He centralized everything: laws, currency, writing, measurement, and defense. He did not invent the Great Wall. He ordered its transformation. Walls built by defeated states were connected, extended, and standardized. This was not just defense. It was a message. The labor was drawn from across the empire. Peasants were conscripted. Criminals were sentenced to wall duty. Soldiers were reassigned from battlefields to construction sites. Hundreds of thousands were sent north. They carried earth in baskets. They hauled stone up mountains. They worked without machines. Winter froze fingers until they shattered. Summer heat killed without warning. Many never returned. Later legends claimed bodies were buried inside the wall itself. Archaeology suggests this was rare, but the myth endured. Because suffering was real, the wall rose. So did the graves. The Qin Empire collapsed within years of its founder's death. Harsh laws sparked rebellion. The dynasty fell, but the wall remained. When the Han dynasty rose, it inherited a fragile frontier and an unfinished defense. The Han rulers faced the same northern threats, but they also faced something new: opportunity. Under the Han, China expanded westward. Trade routes opened that would later be called the Silk Road. Silk, jade, spices, metals, and ideas flowed across deserts and mountains. But wealth attracts danger. Bandits raided caravans. Nomadic groups attacked supply lines. The wall's purpose evolved. It was no longer just about invasion. It was about protection. The Han built not one wall but a system. Watchtowers spaced within sight of each other. Fortresses guarding mountain passes. Garrisons stationed at key choke points. Communication became the weapon. Smoke by day, fire by night. An enemy spotted at the frontier could be reported hundreds of kilometers away within hours. For the first time, the wall became intelligent. There is no single Great Wall, because China has no single landscape. In deserts, builders mixed sand, reeds, and gravel to resist erosion. In plains, layers of earth were rammed until they hardened like stone. In mountains, stone was hauled upward by human chains step by step. Many sections failed, some eroded within decades. Others survived centuries. Brick replaced earth. Lime mortar strengthened joints. Every improvement came at a cost. Human cost. Life on the wall was isolation. Soldiers were stationed far from cities, often for years. Food was scarce. Pay was inconsistent. Punishment was severe. Winters brought starvation. Summers brought disease. Families waited behind. Some soldiers brought wives and children, forming small settlements along the wall. Others never saw home again. Loneliness bred stories. Ghosts wandering the wall. Cries carried by the wind. Whether real or imagined, they reflected trauma. The wall did not only divide nations, it divided lives. Despite its size, the wall failed many times. Enemies went around it, waited for weak points, bribed commanders. Gates were opened from the inside. The wall could delay an enemy, but it could not replace leadership. In the 13th century, Mongol forces conquered China. They did not destroy the wall. They ignored it. The wall stood. The empire fell. After overthrowing Mongol rule, the Ming dynasty rebuilt the wall with urgency. Stone foundations replaced earth. Brick walls rose higher and thicker. Watchtowers were redesigned. Cannons were mounted. This was military architecture. The most famous sections today, Badaling, Mutianyu, are Ming constructions. This is the wall the world recognizes. Still, it was never invincible. The Great Wall is not visible from space. It was never one continuous structure. Bodies were not routinely buried inside it. The truth is more complex and more human. The wall is a record of repeated fear. As threats changed, the wall lost purpose. Firearms made static defenses obsolete. Villagers dismantled sections for homes and roads. Nature reclaimed much of it. For centuries, the wall faded. Explorers wrote about it. Artists painted it. Photographers captured it. Tourism followed. Millions now walk paths once guarded by soldiers. Preservation battles erosion, pollution, and time. Some sections are restored. Others crumble quietly. The Great Wall did not stop every invasion. It did not guarantee peace. But it remains, because it is human. It is fear turned into stone, power carved into the land, ambition stretched across centuries. The Great Wall of China is not humanity's greatest defense. It is humanity's longest reminder that walls can delay enemies, but they cannot replace wisdom, unity, or trust. And still, it stands. If you stayed to the end, you didn't just watch history, you experienced it. For more long-form documentaries that go deeper than the surface, more untold stories of civilizations, empires, and human ambition, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next journey through history. History doesn't end, and neither do the stories.